Hey, everybody, and welcome to Criterion Connection. I'm Joe.
And I'm Scott.
I'm going to have to do that again.
No, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep going. And today we're going to talk about the 1982 Dustin Hoffman classic, Tootsie.
Yeah, directed by Sidney Pollack.
That's right. And as I mentioned, starring Dustin Hoffman, along with Jessica Lange, Terry Garr, Bill Murray, who I did not know was going to be in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Because he gets a lot of credit for Caddyshack, and his role in Caddyshack was more or less a supporting character.
Very much.
And in this case, he's also a supporting character, but I think he's better in this than Caddyshack. I'm gonna be real with everybody. I'm not that big on Caddyshack. It's fine. Well, I don't get the hype, but that's just me.
Not to go too far into this tangent, he's one of the better performances in Caddyshack.
Yes, along with the other guy, the older guy, we're waiting. That guy.
Ted Knight.
But who's not in Tootsie, by the way, so don't look for him.
But Tootsie is such a better overall film.
Well, yeah.
Everybody's got A pluses in this. I mean,
I'm not going to say everybody.
There is a reason why it's nominated for 10 Oscars.
I have one. There's one person in the movie who I wasn't really into.
Okay, well,
but everyone else I thought did a really good. I'm not even saying she did a bad job. She just did. Everyone else, like you said, was A plus. She's about a B plus.
Right. It's just like it's not even a level playing ground between this and Caddyshack.
Right. No, I'm just saying they got more use out of him. I think. So plot of this movie is Dustin Hoffman plays I forgot what his name was. Help me out here. Michael.
Thank you. We both forgot.
He plays Michael Dorsey, which I should remember because it's Dorothy Michaels.
Yes.
He plays Michael Dorsey. He is a failed actor who he teaches theater. It seems like theater is the thing he wants to do more than anything.
Right.
But he's trying to find work, and that's something he instills on his students. You got to find work. You're gonna find work. You got to get work. But which is hilarious because he can. So he finds out that from his agent that he is completely unhireable, not just in New York, but anywhere.
Yep.
So he decides, well, if Michael Dorsey is unhireable, the world hasn't met Dorothy Michaels yet. And it's that famous, they ripped it on Family Guy, that famous shot where he tells him, like, no one will hire you. And then they just cut right to him, like, in the crowd as Dorothy. And God rest her soul, he reminded me a lot of my Aunt Steph in a way. Like when she was young, more so when she was younger, not so much in her later years. But my only problem, and I can't say a problem, it's a nitpick. I guess I'm just conditioned with a lot of these like alter ego movies is you always figure out like where that character came from or like a scene where like you see them developing the character.
Yeah.
You don't really get that with this one.
No.
It's just bam, he's Dorothy. Dorothy's developed. Go with it.
Yeah, it's essentially like you don't need to sit there and develop everything about her. It's just like guy realizes he can't get hired, decides to dress up as a woman to cover it up.
Right. But I think this one it would have really benefited them considering he is an actor, so it would have been interesting seeing the actor's process of coming up with character and everything that goes with it. Nitpick. It's a nitpick. It's not something I'm holding against the movie.
Yeah.
And it's also really interesting seeing him, like, how he grows as a man. Like, he starts out very macho, stereotypical man, how he views women and everything. And then by the end, through, well, not literally, but through posing as a woman, he slowly starts to learn what it's like, not just to be a woman, but to be, like, a woman in his field.
Yeah.
He kind of has a better understanding of relationships as well, like the one he has with Sandy. I remember that, which is his kind of pseudo relationship, but not really, kind of, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that is really like, I think the whole point of Sandy is to be a more obvious like show of the steps he's taking, because he becomes more like, he really becomes more and more apologetic the more he keeps messing up, to the point where he's just like, I just got to be honest with her.
Yeah. And that pays off one way.
In a way, yes. There's a lot of things in this movie that pay off in a way.
In a way. And that's what's great. Like, to me, the writing in the movie is one of the best things.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is actually one of those movies that's used a lot in like screenwriting courses and like how to develop a great protagonist and character arc using Michael Dorsey, where, you know, he's a very self-absorbed and just kind of very narcissistic person.
Yeah.
And thinks he knows everything, and then he experiences life as a woman, and they physically, like, I shouldn't say physically, instead of just having him walk a mile in somebody's shoes, like, they actually alter him into, like, he dresses up as a woman and acts as a woman.
I mean, he's living it. So
living.
You weren't far off.
Yeah, like actually walking in their shoes in the high heels of a female actor,
right?
And him learning his lesson and him becoming a better person for it organically,
right?
And realizing what was always wrong in his point of view,
right? And him doing so so he ends up as Dorothy, trying out for the role that his friend Sandy tried for, didn't get. He gets it through ad-lib performances, and that's kind of like the story of the evolution of the character. All this stuff and all the fame gets built through all these ad-lib moments because he's experiencing what it's like to be a woman. He's in these moments and he's having these real emotional feelings, and he's putting them into the show that he's doing. And also, I just really want to say, this movie was a great use of George Gaines. I love him. He was great in the Police Academy movies. You talk about how like this movie is taught in classes. Here's what I say: if there's older actor class, like if you're starting at an older age, study this man. He is the perfect example of how to do. He's great because if he's just doing a serious performance with goofy stuff. Yeah. So in other words, you're killing two birds with one stone here, with the performance, but also with the writing. I found out that Jo, I don't know what she was on in character, but she was the black woman who was, I guess she was working the camera, or maybe she was helping with cue cards.
Yeah.
I was watching the movie, Caitlin, with my wife, and we were both like, I know her from somewhere. Where do I know her from? You want to know where I know her from?
Where?
I'm sure you probably know her from somewhere else. But we knew her the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego game show. She was the chief. She was the one that was like, we're going to need your help, gumshoes. Which I always loved the way she said that. And that popped me. I was really happy. But before I lose it and we go to the end, the only performance I didn't really like was Jessica Lange's. Her performance was like, I feel like they were going for a vulnerability vibe, but she just kind of came off as like a very like, I don't want to say deer in headlights, but deer in headlights kind of.
It's funny. I think she's the one that won the Oscar out of all the nominees.
I would love to know who she ran against, because that performance was not. I haven't seen her in much. So I can't say it was or wasn't her best, but I just feel when you see her in the acting within the show, within the movie, she does fine. So I got a feeling this is like a direction thing.
Well, and I know she's one of those actresses that's like known for different things depending on which generation of people you're talking to. Like so many people are going to go American Horror Story.
The Tim Curry syndrome.
Yeah. But, you know, other people are going to go like Tootsie and some of the other films she was in the 70s and 80s.
Right.
But, yeah, so coming up to the end, we talked about Tootsie and how great of a writing and how great of a performance that Dustin Hoffman does.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely good.
So, would you recommend this?
Absolutely. This movie was so fun. I had a blast. I think one of my favorite moments was like right towards the beginning when she's testing out for the role and they're like, close up, not that close. I was just like, I lost it. And just like, oh my god, just there's so many moments where you're like, oh no, you're gonna blow your cover. And one thing we didn't mention was just the running gag of like all the dudes wanting to sleep with him.
Yeah.
It was great, especially that scene towards the end at the bar with the dad. Just it's a great time. I don't know how much of it is gonna be holds up today as far as like social climate. So I mean, it's one of those ones where see it for yourself, make your own judgment. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was a great movie. It was from beginning to end, never a dull moment, and definitely watch it. I wasn't just doing a Rayman impression.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is one of the better films in a period that had a whole lot of really great films.
Oh yeah,
kind of back to back to back at this point, and honestly, like even with the social climate and kind of the way things are, because I mean this is made in
82.
82. I was gonna say like late 70s, early 80s.
I mean, Jesus Christ, Andy Warhol was in this movie.
Yeah,
that should tell you something.
It is a different time, but I think it's still relatable, and I think the film is good enough to stand on its own, at least in historical value. Maybe this is one of those classics that could be updated. I don't know.
I could see. It's one of those.
It's one of those. It needs a perfect storm.
Should it? Yes. Could it? I don't think so. But I don't. Not like one of those. Oh, the movie's not going to be as good. I just mean like I just don't know. It would have to be put in the right hands, and I don't think the right hands exist yet.
Yeah, you need real deft touch with it. But yeah, I agree. And let us know what you think in the comments down below. You heard what we like about Tootsie and how much we liked it. What do you all think? I mean, this is one of those few that we talk about that actually had like a huge success in theaters and the box office
and audiences. A lot of people like this movie.
Yeah, with audiences, with critics. Like it was nominated for 10 Oscars. Like this is one of those weird crossover hits that we get the review on here. So what I would love to hear, like, what other Oscar films do people think should be in the Criterion Collection that aren't?
And vice versa, the ones that are that really shouldn't.
True. and I just really want to start a discussion. Let's hear what you got to say. Put it in the comments down below. You can follow us on all different kinds of social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. And, subscribe to the channel and tell your friends about us because we keep growing the channel. I mean, that's the way we grow is by word of mouth.
Right.
And we also love having discussions with everybody and sparking discussions with everybody.
Well, you do. I'm not a fan of it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why I'm a guest on this series.
But yeah, I'm Joe still.
And I'm still Scott. And can I do it?
You can do it.
I'm gonna do my way here. We will see you later.
That sucked.